are driven by the finer things. I see more than materials and wealth. What have you got to give to me? What I don't already give myself. You are driven by the...
Welcome to a brand new episode of Maths Disclaimer. Now, if this is the first time you're watching Maths Disclaimer, this is a branch of my usual channel, which is Disclaimer Wellbeing Services, aka Illuminate Disclaimer. And in these maths classes, I tend to find ways where I do maths, but do it in more of a fun and engaging way. So today we're going to be talking about fractions. Okay, now I'm going to be doing hopefully more episodes regarding fractions in the future. So I'm going to find a fraction of a whole number. So as you can see, this board is a bit temperamental, but hopefully you can see this, hopefully you can hear me properly, and hopefully by the end of this episode we'll get some more understanding. So firstly, what is this? You're probably thinking in your mind, Sydney, we know it's a half, but if you were to do a question which said explain what each number represents, would you know? Probably not. So let's go through it together. The first number is the numerator. Okay? Now, the numerator is the number which signifies a portion of what the fraction represents. Okay? The bottom number is the denominator. And the denominator, which is the bottom number, represents the total parts of said fraction. So a half, the bottom number is the denominator, is basically saying that there's two total parts. Yep, number one is the fragment, which basically shows that if we were to write half on this, that would be half. That's one part of the total portions of the fraction, which is 1 over 2. 1 over 2 is also half. So with that being said, we're going to go through a few questions. Nope. We're going to go through a few questions, and hopefully we can make more of an understanding of, sorry about that, we'll make more of an understanding of how we can do fractions and find a fraction number of a whole number. So hopefully that makes sense. I'll show you an example. If I was to write here, what's half of 10? What's half of 10? You'll probably say to me, oh, that's 5. And I had a student recently who was like, yeah, half of 10 is 5. Okay, why is half of 10 5? Because you split 10 in half and you get 5. And I was thinking to myself, well, if I'm a student and I was struggling with understanding fractions, would you say that's a good enough answer? Not necessarily, right? If half of 10 is 5 and you can't explain it in numerical terms, then you have a risk of not understanding yourself and not allowing other people to understand it also. So what you do is you usually get the whole number, then you times it by the numerator, and then you get the answer, and then you get the answer, and the answer will be then divided by the denominator. We times it by the numerator, which is the top number. 10 times 1 is 10. 10 lots of 1 is 10. Then we divide it by the denominator. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And that's how you represent in numerical terms how to find a fraction of a whole number. Okay? So we're going to go through 5 examples very quickly. So let's just say 2/5 of 60. Okay? Now, if you need to find a fraction of a whole number, just make sure that you are going to do multiplications and divisions. So I would say, although you can use a calculator to find this out easy, the main power comes from within, your mental arithmetic, how you calculate things, how you find critical thoughts. Now, if you're not too sure about this, I have done some more videos about critical thought, and to be honest with you, I'm going to do more because I feel like that's one of the most important things we have as human beings, critical thought, just questioning answers as well as answering questions. So, first point, we have to do 60 times the numerator, yeah? So 60 times 2 is 120, okay? That's the first part, yeah? 2, you get the same 120 and you divide it by 5. Okay, now usually I'll do calculations, but some of the calculations I'm going to do with fractions, I'm not going to do the working out. It's only if I'm unsure. But I'm looking at this, and I would say that with this one, just to make sure that I get it right, 5 into 1 doesn't go, 0. 5 into 12 goes once, remainder 2, and 5 into 20 goes 4. So 120 divided by 5 is 14. So what is 2/5 of 60? It's 14. Okay, next one. 1/8 of 600. Okay, so number 1, 600 times the numerator, which is 1, equals 600. Number 2, we get that same 600 and we divide it by 8, yeah? And that is 8 there, 600 under the bus stop, 8 into 6 doesn't go, 8 into 60 is 8, that's 7, 8 7 is 56, remainder 4, so put that 4 there, 8 into 40 goes 5 times, so 600 divided by 8 should be 75. So 1/8 of 600, is 75. Okay, 3/10 of 500, okay? Number 1, as you probably know, times it by the numerator, so 500 times by 3 equals 1500. And then we get our answer, which is 1500, and we divide it by the numerator. 1500 divided by 10 is, you basically can just do that. 150 divided by 1 is 150. So 3/10 of 500 is 150, okay? Sorry, there's just some outside noise. Now, brilliant. Now 6/8 of 540. 540 times 6 is let's see, 0, 6, 24. Do you know what? Let me just do it. My grid method way. So 6 is into 0 is 0, 6 into 4, 6 times 4 is 24, but then you have a 0 left over, so you put it there. 6 times 5 is 30, and you have 2 zeros left over, so you get 3,240. So your answer is 3,240. I get this 3,240, and you divide it by 8. Okay. We do our simple method. By the way, if you're not sure about the bus stop method of what I'm doing, please look at my previous maths disclaimer episode, and that'll give you more information on what I'm doing and why am I doing it like this. Okay, so 8 into 3 doesn't go. 8 into 32, 8, 16, 24, 32, that's 4. There's no remainder, so 8 into 4 0. 8 into 40 is 5. Now, because of division, if your answer is a 0, 8 into 3 doesn't go, that's 0. If it's a 0, then you have to add the next number to it until you get an answer which is more than 0. Okay, that's why I do this. Once you have a number, then you start from the beginning. 8 into 4 doesn't go. 8 into 40 is 5. So 8 times 5 equals 40. There's your 5. So 3 to 40 divided by 8 is 405. Now 6 eighths of 540 is therefore 405. Let's do one more. Let's do something a bit more spicy, as I like to say. Let's do something 7 15ths of 720. Something better. Something a bit more challenging, because with the previous examples, if you do understand it, I want you to work it out yourself. And I'll be doing it alongside with you, but extra points if you actually do it yourself. First one, what do we do? Yeah, we get the 720, we times it by the numerator. 7 which is, I'll do it over here on the right, hopefully you can see it. 0 is 0. 7 times 2 is 14, carry the 1. 7 times 7 is 49, plus 1 is 50, 40. There's your answer. Okay, we get that. Put it there. 5,040 divided by 15. Put this here. 15, 5,040. 15 into 55 doesn't go. 15 into 50 is 45. 15, 30, 45, yep. Remainder of 5. 15 into 54. 15, 30, 45. That's 3 again. Remainder of 9. 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90, 6. So you can calculate this as well. 5,040 divided by 15 equals 336. So therefore 7/15 of 720 is 336. Now I'm sorry for the handwriting, but that is one simple way to use your mind. Use the bus stop method and use simple multiplication to find out a fractional percentage of a whole number. I just wanted to apologize again for the messiness. If you were a student in my class, I'll make sure that you line up everything correct so you can always refer back to your subject matter if you ever get confused in the future. And I also apologize for the background noise and the people trying to knock. But most importantly, I just want to thank you all for coming to a new episode of Maths Disclaimer.